See, what happened was I ran over him and I had to get my tires rotated. So here's your bill for $250.
I had to clean the blood off the bottom of my truck before
how much the detailing it cost me to get your hair out of my bumper? Well, back to Under Oath. Craig, pull out the topic. See, they don't trust us to talk about other things, so they're forcing us to do specific things because they have zero trust.
In Oregon, a cyclist is suing after being struck by an ambulance, which then transported him to the hospital, only to bill him $1,800 for the ride.
Move. That's a ballsy
The
move.
cyclist claims this charge is unjust, given that the ambulance caused the accident, while the ambulance service argues that the fee is standard regardless of fault.
You know what? Dumb. I have never seen something dumber in the world. It's like, yeah, I hit you with my car. That'll be $600.
So you know some attorney that probably just started at some big giant defense firm was handed this file, and he's probably 1 year, 2 years out of law school. And they're like, okay, defend this case. And he's got nobody to talk to. Nobody's helping him. He just comes up with something.
Well, it's... I got to be honest with you.
There we go.
I was really going to go into criminal law, but, I couldn't get the job at the public defender's office. Yeah.
I can make it work.
I think I can make this work.
No, I'm being serious.
You know what?
Honest to God, I think I can make it work. Do you want to hear?
No. I don't want to hear because people will
Well,
be
I think
mad
the
at
audience
us.
do.
They'll be mad.
No,
they'll be mad. They'll go, look at another scumbag attorney walking evil people.
Here's how it goes.
Okay.
If I'm the defense attorney,
okay,
your claim is really against the driver of the ambulance, not necessarily the ambulance company. Even though we're vicariously liable for the actions of our driver, if we are. Now, that's a fight. They're not always responsible for the actions of their driver. That is a separate fight. But irrespective of whose fault it is, the company itself charges this amount of money to take people to the hospital.
Is he an independent contractor?
He could be.
Most likely he's not.
Probably not, but he could be.
Okay, so let's.
But I guarantee you the company, if they can make the argument that he is, they're going to make the argument that he is.
Okay, for those who don't know, when I say independent contractor, businesses sometimes can't be responsible for a type of person who works with the company called an independent contractor. It means that this person is independent from the company. They have very little control over him. It's a separate business, a couple other things. Now, that's very rarely do ambulance companies contract out from somebody else. But what Craig is trying to claim is that
that fight that you just articulated happens hundreds and thousands of times every month in every state. And it doesn't matter what the company calls the driver. The company can say, hey, you are an independent contractor. It doesn't matter the labels they assign each other. The law will determine whether or not that person is an employee or an independent contractor. And the reason that's important is because they're only responsible if the guy is an employee. They're not responsible, or sometimes less responsible, if the guy is an independent contractor. And that's why that fight happens all the time.
Okay. Well, it's easy to prove because all you have to do is show me your pay stub, please. Are you employed by this company? Is it a W-2 or do you get a regular?
Sometimes that's easy. Sometimes they get a regular paycheck, like most people in the United States do. Then yeah, that in those cases, it's easy. But sometimes they have a wonky way of paying their employees.
Well, when I look at this stuff like this, just so people know, this is a basic accident. It's disgusting that they would actually try to get the money. Now, maybe it was a tactic. Maybe it was absolutely a tactic. Maybe we're saying, yeah, we weren't responsible for this. That's why we're charging the $1,800. This is completely separate from my business. My business is taking people there and he used you.
Yeah, it's actually your fault that my ambulance driver ran into you. You crossed against the light. We had the green light and you were in the middle of the intersection anyway.
Yes, you were more than 50% responsible for your accident.
And
now,
by the way,
I don't know Oregon law. I'm not licensed in Oregon, which is weird because
there's like three states you're not licensed in.
Washington right next door. But I'm not licensed in Oregon. But I mean, the fact is that if they can show that the driver was liable, then this is pretty bad. It's so weird because you would rather, if I'm fighting this case, the last fact I want put into evidence is I actually tried to charge you for the accident. A jury would go, what a piece of crap. I would not want to put that in front of a
That does
jury.
not have a lot of jury appeal. I agree.
Oof. They might double down. They might go, hey,
But you can understand the theory where some younger, non-experienced type of defense attorney, if he had to come up with something that's at least plausible.
well, I have a feeling I know what happened. They just sent a bill. I don't think anybody did on purpose. I think they just followed their typical crap and they just sent the bill.
That could be.
That happens. Nothing is weirder for me.
Just part of the administrative
Yes.
state. We automatically sent everybody we take to the hospital a bill for $1,800. We didn't even have an opportunity to not send it.
Now, in a situation like this, not only do I think the guy's going to be accountable if he can show he hit him, but it's also going to look really bad to a jury. And people don't understand how tough that is. The jury, believe it or not, I think in my history of trials, it's hard to force a jury to follow the law. And I know that sounds stupid, but juries have a lot of things going through their minds. They don't like your guy. They don't like having to sit there. They don't like being part of this system. They're bored. They're tired. They want to go home. The last thing they want to do at the end of having to sit through 4 or 5 days of trial is to sit through a bunch of other hours in a room with people they don't like. And I've been part of a jury. I can tell you that nothing you think happens. TV juries, it's a lie. Oh, where they're arguing the law and everything else. They don't do that. Half of them weren't paying attention. Some of them were actually sleeping during the trial. And the people who were paying attention, they have their own, let's just say, prejudices. I remember on the jury I sat on, somebody actually said, oh, look at me. He was looking at me. He did it. What do you mean he was looking at you? He's supposed to look at you. Well, I had a feeling he was trying to intimidate me. And I was sitting there, are you crazy? Not one piece of evidence has come in yet.
They
and he's
let
guilty.
you onto a jury?
Oh, you remember that. Idiots. Rule number 1, as an attorney, when you pick a jury, never, ever pick an attorney.
They may not have had a choice.
Oh, they had a choice.
No, you sure they didn't run out of their preemptories before they got to you?
Both of them looked at me, smiled. I was like, you idiots.
Both of them?
Both of them smiled at me, which means they were both okay with it. And I'm thinking, you don't get it. One of you is going to take an ass kicking. You just don't know which one of you. And I would never flip a coin on a juror. You and I have picked juries, and we're sitting here going, God, don't want him. Definitely don't want him. And when they say it's not about you, the judge makes it clear. He says to you, hey, listen, this isn't about you. It's just maybe you didn't fit the trial. Oh, it's about you. It's absolutely about you. You said something or did something.
It's about you not being the appropriate type of person for this type
Meaning
of case.
you thought you were going to find, you were not going to follow the law, or you were so prejudiced in the crap that you said that we're going, oh no, we can't have this guy. And even when you say something like, we've had this in a jury before, where we had a case against the homeowners association over something. And there was a president of the HOA, of his own HOA, that we couldn't get off for cause. And the problem was he was at the end, so we were stuck with him. We couldn't get to him. We all our challenges were eaten up by the time he got there. So we were stuck on a jury with a guy who is there was no way ever he was going to take care of our client.
No chance.
And that's the problem. People don't realize how important a jury is. And if you ever get called for jury duty, please leave your baggage at the door. Just follow the law. It's hard enough. There's a lot at stake at these trials, whether it be criminal or civil or whatever. Just try to follow the rules and don't let anybody bully you on the jury. And I've seen this happening where one guy will steamroll everyone and everyone just wants to get out because they don't want to be around this person. And that's not the way our system should work.
Let's get back to the actual bicyclist who got hit by the ambulance. What does he do in a situation like that? He's got to hire an attorney, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right away, he goes
first call.
And if he hires us and we find out that there's a bill from the people that hit him, don't we want to put that into evidence as fast as we possibly can?
Stick it in there.
Right in front of the jury.
Right in your eye.
By the way, here's
the adjuster.
Here's what happened.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding?
Your ambulance company sent my guy a bill. They sent the guy that they ran over
a bill.
I think we might be able to use that as punitive damages.
You know how hurt he was when he saw this bill? He
Or-
could not believe it.
Or maybe they were just trying to make him like just suffer.
Were you just trying to bully him?
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Negligent infliction of emotional distress, maybe?
Yeah.
Or maybe intentional.
Phew, yeah. You knew what you would do.
Yeah.
You sent him a bill for running over him?
That's the biggest slap in the face
I've never gotten my ass kicked
I've
and then the
ever
guy
heard.
billed me for it.
Yeah, that's true. By the way, I broke my ring punching you in the head.
Yeah.
It was a $1,400
I screwed up
ring.
the setting on my ring.
Here's the bell.
Yeah. You see, what happened was I ran over him and I had to get my tires rotated. So here's your bill for
I had to clean
$250.
the blood off the bottom of my trunk
You know how
before
it
it
cost the
rusted.
detailing it cost me to get your hair out of my bumper? Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's a key piece of evidence for us, right?
Yes. It's also something that gives you a little fuel to go
And
a
it
little
helps you
harder.
get by those jurors who otherwise are not trying to be there. If you can wake them up with something like that, something that gets their attention and get them invested in the case, that's the kind of thing you want to do as a plaintiff's attorney, especially.
We just had a trial recently, and I remember saying something to the jury about, like, you should have known. How did you not know that this was? How many people had to be shot on your property before you realized there was a problem? The first shooting, did you do anything?
Wasn't enough.
No. The second shooting, did you do something?
Nope.
No. Third shooting, nothing?
No.
No, you still weren't sure you had a problem. How many people had to be shot on your property before you figured it out?
Where's the line?
And
I would
that-
think that the line would be after the first one.
in the end, the guy will probably be taken care of because I'm sure enough people in Portland are going to hear the story about him being billed for it. I'm sure this is now becoming, what do they call, hidden mythic status.